Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another stream for your transfer window on 100% Chelsea. Join with me tonight is our special guest, as well as Max, Mr. Cheeky Sport.
How's it
Joe! How are you doing, my
going,
friend?
Lewis? I'm doing great, man. Thank you very much for having me. You know what? I was gonna go bed. You gave me that call. I said, "What? 100% Chelsea? Oh, you better believe I'm gonna be there. You better believe I'm gonna turn it on." Oh my gosh! Let's get it going, guys. Let's get it going.
Too right, and obviously we're gonna have Max as normal, so nothing special there. Can you top that entrance?
Um, yes, I'm here as well. No, I can't
You
really
got
top
you
that,
got 5 seconds,
but
Max. You got 5 seconds. Four,
okay.
three,
Three,
two. Yeah, right.
two,
We've got to
one.
move on. Lewis,
Glad to be
Lewis.
here.
Yeah, let's just go. But anyway, as I thought it would be a good idea, you've had me and Max for a lot of this window. I thought maybe let's bring in a fresh pair of eyes, and why not have it as an outsider who could maybe see. Joel spends a lot of time at every single football ground, well, not every single, but many football grounds around the country, watches a lot of football, so obviously he knows what he's talking about. So I thought, why not bring him on? Let's see what he has to think about our transfer dealings, and obviously what is going on at the minute and what we could do with.
You're a smart
So,
man.
we will start as normal. Max, what have you got for me?
Okay, first one we can talk about is Loic Remy. Obviously, as talks of Pato start to heat up, there's talks of Remy on his way out. There's obviously been a lot going on about Aston Villa being linked with him. Now West Brom are apparently getting on board with that. Crystal Palace would like to see him join them. There's also some clubs outside of the country, such as Schalke and Moscow, Spartak Moscow, that are also after him. Whether or not these are reliable, obviously, to lose our second choice striker and bring in someone like Pato would be ridiculous, especially if we keep hold of someone like Falcao, whose form we can't really comment on his form this season. It's just been he's been injured for most of it. When he's sort of had to go come on off the bench, he hasn't looked great. We can all say that he's not the player that he used to be. So if we're to then change our front three from Diego Costa, Loic Remy, and Didier Drogba to Diego Costa, Alexandre Pato, and an incredibly out of form Falcao, I think that would be pretty awful. I don't know what you think of it. I'm going to go straight to you first, Joel.
Well, to be honest with you, I was actually a big fan of Loic Remy actually. I don't think he did that bad last year. I think last year I saw him as a striker. I thought, you know what, if you need a goal, he was always capable of coming on and scoring. This season, I don't know what's happened. I mean, personally, I think if I were him, if I were a Chelsea striker on so much money or whatever, I would turn around and I would say, you know what, everybody else is playing bad. This is my time to shine. Everybody else is doing bad. I would have done what Willian wanted to do, like what Willian has done. I would have stepped it up when it counted, shown what I was really worth. And for some reason, he just hasn't done it. And I don't actually feel the pity for him that he's being linked out in different places. Um, it's a bit sad. Like I said, I really like the guy, really good guy. I'm sure you've met him a few times, Louis. He's really, really a good. You haven't met him, have you?
No, I ain't met me. But if I had, I would be saying exactly what you're saying. I think, like, you're right. He can get a goal without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean,
No, go on.
yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit disappointed in him because maybe, like I said, I've got a little soft spot for him where I think he's a really good player. Pato, can I talk about Pato, Max, or do you want me to? Yeah, Pato.
Go ahead, yeah.
You know, I, Look, he was amazing at AC Milan. Let's not deny he was absolutely amazing. The age of 19, 18, 19, we thought, who is this guy? He is the new Kaká, everything. You know, I haven't seen him for many years. You know, you look at his goal scoring record, it's not exactly flames even in Brazil. I mean, let's not forget, is it Corinthians loaned him out as well? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like he's there and he's scoring, more than he's appearing. You know what
He's
I
got a
mean?
lot of injury problems as well. So
A
that's a
lot of
massive
injury
problem.
problems. I mean, and he's even really an out and out striker. I remember seeing him thinking this guy is a talented, plays behind the striker.
He's
I,
not quite got that pace he used to have, does he? He's more of a false nine, realistically.
a false nine. He was never that pacey anyway. So I mean, let's not forget it was the Italian league. You know what I mean? I'm seeing all these other clubs linked with Pato. It looks like Chelsea have got Pato, but I think the other clubs just wanted Pato because everybody else wanted Pato. It wasn't like people were singing his name, like screaming for him to come to the Prem. I'm not convinced. I think Chelsea are trying to inject some new blood just to possibly make it a bit more competitive. But I don't think they're the answers. I don't think Pato is the answer.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think, with the front three that we're capable of having, I do think Falcao, I think it's best that maybe he possibly cancels his loan deal. It's not working. It's as simple as that. It's a broken marriage. It's just he's not playing. He's not going to get game time. He keeps getting injured. There is almost no point in having him, if you ask me. And I do think you're right with Pat. I think it's almost like Pato's agent's gone, "Boy, do you fancy a move to the Premier League?" And he's gone, "Well, yeah," because everyone would. And then he's gone round to every single club going, "Do you want him? Do you want him? Do you want him?" And it could almost be like he could have gone to Sunderland before us and said, "Do you want him in Sunderland?" No, they could have gone, "No, we don't want Pato." Because it's almost like he's been passed round and eventually he's come to us. And I don't think he'll work.
7-8 million, 26-year-old. No one's screaming the word bargain.
Considering Southampton got Charlie Austin for 4 million as well.
I mean,
it seems like a stupid bit of business. Southampton get a proven Premier League striker for 4 million, whereas we're there getting Pato for double that. Realistically, I think it's an awful bit of business, and there's only one man to blame. I'm going to do it again.
Where's the top?
Only one man to blame.
Oh, Emanalo out.
Another wrong decision to put in the books.
You know what? I was going to say, I went to go see Charlie Austin play a couple of weeks ago, right? Well, it was QPR versus Brighton. My God, he doesn't miss. Oh my days!
In front of goal, he's one of the more clinical strikers.
He's deadly.
He's deadly in front of goal. Incredibly clinical, and he will be quality for Southampton. How have we left it so long? 4 million is just for someone that showed so much class last season. 4 million is just like an absolute steal. That's back pocket stuff for someone like Abramovich.
But my question is, why has he gone down from 15 million to 4 million in between 2 windows? That's what I'm wondering.
I think for a couple of reasons. I think it's true, actually. You know what, Louis? I'm actually lost for words here.
It is a tough one.
I tell you what, that's actually the first time you've ever been lost for words.
Louis, you've had me. That's it. That's it. I'm done with Cheeky Sport now. I've stopped. That's it. It's finished.
That's it. Joel, I've just put Joel out of the job.
Yeah.
I'm better than you.
It's finished. I mean, no. I can't just let the company die. Look, there must be an issue. He must be injured. Like when I mean injured, he must have an injury problem.
It might be more down to the fact that after QPR have got relegated, they just need to offload some players that they can get any form of money from.
I don't believe that because they're not. Yeah, do you know why? Because it's not like they don't need to sell him. Their owner is rich.
Yeah, financially they're not stable, but they're one of the better off, more
established
sides,
one of the reasons
especially in the championships.
Exactly, and one of the reasons why they didn't sell him is because at the end of the day, they didn't have to. If you're looking at the QPR team, they've got a lot of players that they had last year, you know. It wasn't like people came out and it was like, take everyone. They've actually got quite a lot of players they had last year. You know, still got your Robert Green there. You got your, you had your Charlie Austin. You had, what's his name? Fur. You had a few players there still, you know.
I think I do agree. I don't think it was a case of offload. I do wonder why that price tag went down so low. But until we find out why that happened, if you look at, like you're saying, if we looked at the advantage, if we'd gone in for someone like Charlie Austin versus Alexandre Pato, like you're saying, he's homegrown, he's proven in the Premier League. In a team that got relegated, he scored 20-odd goals last season, didn't he?
Ridiculous.
He was deadly. That's double the money for Pato.
And he's scoring in the Championship for fun as well. So it's just like it's not like he's lost his touch or it was just luck.
Pato's not really doing anything special in Brazil as well, realistically, is he?
He's not. Have you seen his stats?
Yeah, he's not really setting the league on fire.
No, it's a case of when Chelsea or a European club has signed a player from Brazil, it's when they've been doing excruciatingly well.
It's probably shirt sales, to be honest.
Pato's
a well-named brand. He is one of the bigger names.
Till today, he hasn't even.
Everyone still knows his name, don't they? Though everyone still knows his name.
He hasn't played for Brazil since 2013.
I know.
That's
everyone still knows his name, though. That's the thing.
If you can't get into your national team for 2.5 years, I don't think I don't know. I don't see
I've
it.
got to be honest with you, mate. I'm clutching at straws here because I ain't got a clue why
You
we're
ain't got
going
a
in for
foggy,
it.
do you? You ain't
I'm
got a
trying to
foggy.
figure it out.
You ain't got a
Says a
foggy.
lot, that doesn't it? But anyway, let's move on to our second transfer topic. And Joel, do you have anything for me to or us to have a chat about, mate?
Yeah, hold on. I didn't know you was gonna surprise me with that one there. So
Well, it wasn't a
let me
surprise, I told you.
yeah, let me get my notes here because I thought to myself, what do we have to talk about here? Oh, for flip's sake. For your joking.
I can pop in with one if you'd like me
Please
to.
pop in. Please pop in. I'm struggling.
Okay. The first deal that has been confirmed for Chelsea this January, Papy Djilobodji, the man that has played 60 seconds for this club since signing.
Yeah.
Once again, sorry, just doing it again. Wait, where is it?
Wait, no. If you're going to say
Another.
his name, you've got to pronounce it right. You've got to pronounce it right.
How do you pronounce
But
it?
when we signed
I
him,
thought
me, Dan, and Eunice, we were struggling so much.
Djilobodji, isn't it?
It's not. You had to say it in an African accent. It was like Papy Djilobodji.
See,
Papy
Papa,
Djilobodji.
Papa Djilobodji. Yeah?
I'm not going to embarrass myself, but yeah,
Don't do
another
it, Max. Don't do it.
Emiliano signing. Um,
Max, I swear to God, I'll burn that shirt if you pick it up one more time. I know it is
Ah,
terrible for us, but just stop picking it up.
there will be one more situation in this stream, I'm sure. But yeah, another Eminalo signing, 60 seconds since signing in the summer. Like, he's gone on loan to Werder Bremen, for anyone that doesn't know. So, obviously, again, if you really don't know, they play in Germany. Whether or not he'll get in the first team there, I would have thought so. They're not the biggest German side. He wasn't really even getting a see into on the bench. I think it was Walsall that he got the 60 seconds against. So,
It was.
yeah.
wow. You only
He's not really,
60
yeah,
seconds against
he's
Warsaw.
not done much for Chelsea. This isn't
Nation.
big. But I want to know what you think about it. Louis, should I go to you first?
I think because we were talking about it before, you know what? Joel made a very, very good point on it before the stream about Chelsea's transfer policy. And from an outsider looking in, I can understand where he's coming from, but it is pretty interesting. So once he's finished that drink, I'll just carry on talking and talking about my week. And there you go. Okay, off we go, Joel.
I look at some of these players, possibly not Papa Djilobodji, but a lot of these other players that you have out on loan or these loan deals that have gone permanent. We were talking about Cuadrado before we got on the call, and I wasn't even sure. I was like, well, where is he? What's going on? These are players you probably could have done with. I mean, Salah. I mean, he's not exactly the worst player in the world, is he? Like, if you see how well he did in the Italian league last year, I was thinking, my God, you guys just let go of this guy. He's fire, you know. And especially when you've got player revolts, you've got all of this going on. You've got players being brought in the summer. You're not really sure if they're gonna do anything. This is the time where you could have injected that blood, and I just don't understand what was going on. Is it that these buyers were to stop other clubs having them, having the players? Because that's the only thing I can think of. Why would you get rid of? Who did you get? Who was Salah sold for? Was it to replace? Who replaced him? Was it Kevin De Bruyne? No, was it to
No.
replace Kevin De Bruyne or was it to replace Mata?
He was signed in the 2013-14 January transfer window for what I believe because we played against them in the Champions League when he was at
Yeah.
Basel and he scored 2 goals against us.
Yeah.
I don't think he was necessarily signed as a replacement for anyone. I think he was signed to be seen as a long-term future. I know in his debut as well, he played against Arsenal, scored that goal in the 6-0 thrashing, I'm going to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But immediately after that season was placed on loan. I don't necessarily think he was replaced for anyone. Obviously, Cuadrado was bought after the sale of Schürrle.
Okay, that's the one I'm talking
That's the
about.
one you're thinking about. We sold Schürrle
That
to
was
Wolfsburg.
so stupid because Schürrle, for me, I don't care if apparently he wasn't strong enough.
He showed a lot of potential.
Man, great finisher. I mean,
Very good in front of goal.
great finisher. I just thought to myself, I'm not saying he had the best record, but it's the record's better than Pato's. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
Charlotte was also a Chelsea fan.
yeah.
He was.
Do you see what I mean? And it's like I look and I just think these are the kind of players that you needed in a time like this. I look at Kevin De Bruyne at Man City, right? And this one, and I know I've moved away from Papa, Djilobodji, but as you said, Louis, I blame you, Louis, because you brought me here. you look at Kevin, and you just first of all, when I see Kevin, I always go, Kevin, Kevin, you're home alone. When you see Kevin, you go, why was he sold? What was the issue? You know, I remember Jose saying he didn't feel like he had the heart, and he didn't want to fight.
To be honest, I'm going to back Jose up on that one. When Jose did first come back to Chelsea, his starting lineup did involve Kevin De Bruyne in the middle. First 6 games of the season, he started him in the middle every game. He came in and he said he had a lot of faith in Kevin De Bruyne, said that he wanted to get him into the first team. First 6 games, though, he didn't impress, didn't do anything. So he ended up drifting out of the squad and was sold later in January. When Mourinho did first come in, he did say openly that he wanted to get him in the side and did play him. He was a first team starter for him.
So
but
he said he didn't want to
show enough.
But what was the reason to sell him? Is it because he said that he didn't have heart, or he didn't want to?
De Bruyne went into Mourinho's office after, obviously, I think it was a training thing, and he said, I don't want to play this style of play. I don't want to track back. I don't want to do this. This is how I play. This is how we're going to do it. Mourinho obviously went, no.
Really?
Yeah, he went, no, we're not going to do it. And so he was like, all right, fine. He started in the
Same problem with Lukaku, wasn't it?
No, it's different with Lukaku.
And there you go, Lukaku, another one. You know what I mean? Anyway, go on.
But we'll come back to that. But with De Bruyne, he, as well as that meeting, he started against Swindon and faked an injury to get off the pitch because he didn't want to play. That's why he was offloaded.
Oh wow. Okay, that's different. I thought that, after seeing him in Germany, and I will never forget that quote, what Jose said, I started wondering, is it that he lacked heart, or he lacked heart for Jose? Because, there's two different things. Look, like we can clearly see, there's a lot of players that don't lack heart, but they lack heart for Jose. Not everybody wants to fight for Jose. One of the reasons why Jose made a reputation for himself, people would say, people like Zlatan said they would kill for, what did he say? He would die for Jose on the pitch. So I started wondering, there's a difference. Do you see what I mean in the two? But thanks for clearing that up. I didn't know that. I mean, I wonder if Kevin's attitude's changed at the moment. I don't know.
I think if you also looked at how Chelsea played at the beginning of the season versus how Manchester City play, Manchester City are very open, very expansive. I think that I'm not 100%. I'm pretty almost the average formation is 4-4-2. It's almost it's almost quite Atletico Madrid-esque, where you've got the wing backs and the left side and the right side midfield are quite close and compact together. So it's almost. They play 4-2-3-1 as well, actually. So they play 4. I've seen them play 4-4-2 sometimes, but I'm just there going. Yeah. But shut up. But forget it. But what I'm trying to say is they play very open, expansive football.
Yeah.
Versus how Chelsea play, we're very compact, very defensive, always march your man, always kept your position. If you overlapped, you had to make sure you were back defending. This was, very high energy, you had to be there, you had to do this. Whereas City is very, do what you want, very flowy. It's almost like LA versus New York.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It works more because, like I believe I'm right that they play 4-2-3-1 majority of the time. If you look at what Kevin has there, which he didn't have, is, for example, he's up top with him, Sterling, and Silva. They've got Fernandinho and whoever else, or whoever else is holding at the time to play that role. I think, like you said, I don't think Jose is very keen on. Fine, you can have the attacking players, but he expects for everyone to work like Matic does. It's not that Matic sits there, and does all the sweeping up. You've got to be running back and forth, and if you're not willing to do that, then I'm sure, Jose wasn't pleased with that. But do you think, another question, do you think the selling of Mata was actually justified, or do you reckon it was just something that he wanted to do?
Mata wanted to leave in the end, I think.
Did he? In the end, but
I don't think he did, to be honest with you. I think it was more the fact that Mourinho, when he first came in especially, he never played possessive football. In that first season that he came back, people were looking at our games where we were having about 30% possession, 3 shots on target, and we're still winning games 1-0. The thing with Mata is he holds on to the ball a lot. He sort of possesses a very, very different style of play to the style of playing which Mourinho wanted to implement with the team he had. And it's much easier for him to get rid of one player than it was to completely change the style of play and get rid of a few players or bring in a load of new players. Because someone like Mata who plays in that number 10 role, your number 10 role is the heart of your team. And everything does sort of go through them, especially every attack. I mean, everything seemed to start at that number 10 role. So I think he just needed to change that. Hence why he brought in someone like Fabregas, who was a lot more direct. Louis, you're better to say something there.
To be fair, with Mata, Oscar was also the preferred choice. He preferred Oscar because of Oscar's ability to track back and win the ball back. Where Mata, De Bruyne, these two players didn't track back. Like if you saw how Mourinho wanted to play again, we would be watching, or I'd be watching. Like one game that sticks out for me, I personally, is when I was watching him. It was the Aston Villa game when we beat them 2-1 at the beginning of the season. They'd been playing really, really well, and I was watching it, and he played Oscar at number 10. He put Mata on the right wing, and where everyone else was tracking back, you'd have, I think it was Eto'o up front for that game. I'm not 100%. Eto'o or Torres and Mata would always be lingering forward, and then if you looked after Mata left, the only person that would be forward on an attack would be the centre forward, and then everyone else would burst up and sort of hit on the counter, which was what he wanted to play, and Mata wasn't doing that. But yeah, let's move on before we get sucked into a massive long.
Yeah, you can blame me. You can blame me, 100% Chelsea fans coming in and just messing things about. Me and Louis do this in our spare time all the time. Don't mind us.
It's alright. It's okay, Joe. But now you've had time to assess your thoughts. Give me that transfer news.
Right, transfer news. Right, you gotta have me more prepared. All right, so we got the fact that I'm gonna start with something that's not gonna happen. Okay. Let's see. To Chelsea. Apparently looks like he's not very keen on going to Chelsea. You know, he's currently a PSG player. I think he's one of the most impressive players at PSG. He's done very well then.
At the end of the season, doesn't it? So it'd be pretty stupid if that does happen as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I don't know where I see him going, but it looks like Chelsea is not the place. They're saying that Pedro might have had enough. Pedro might, you know,
Really?
he hasn't looked as if he was. Yeah, but I'm not. You know what? I'm not really surprised because when the whole mutiny thing was going on, apparently Pedro was, you know, running around saying he should have stayed at Barca, etc., etc. I mean, and you can see it by his face. He doesn't look like, you know, he doesn't look like he's bleeding for Chelsea at the moment, shall I say? You know, there's some people you can tell whether they're passionate about something. When I see you outside the ground, Louis, I know, hey, this is a Chelsea man and he cares about the club. You know, you can just see it by how they talk, how they carry themselves. Pedro looked like he wanted to play football, and playing football was convenient for him. But did he care about the club? You know?
But that's the thing with modern football, if you ask me. People could say that big clubs have mercenaries and stuff, but I personally think there are players that will fight for your club, but that's because they realise it's entailed in their job. Like, it's a case of, you know, if you looked at, let's take Southampton as an example. There are players in that team where if you pull on that shirt, they know you're playing for Southampton. You have to do good for the fans. It's what you have to do. It's your job. You are entitled, and that is, you sign for the club. That's what you've got to do. Everton, a prime example of a great, great club where players pull on that shirt. You're fighting for Everton. You're playing well. John Stones being an example, or Naismith when he was there. He's obviously got moved on to Norwich now. But when he was there, he always gave 100%.
Yeah.
With clubs like Manchester City, you can't really notice it. But a couple of seasons ago, you noticed it when they weren't doing very well. They were players just pulling themselves along.
There was a lot. Yeah. You can see it when clubs are not doing well. That's when you start to see, you know. And I think that's where Manchester United are suffering. You know, that's why the old Man United wouldn't have really had themselves in this position because the truth is the players themselves, they cared too much to let it happen. You know. And yeah, I look at players like Pedro. I look at some of these players that come in, and I think, you really care. Like, yeah, it's all well and good when you know you get to play stylish football and you get match of the day highlights, but What about when people really need you? You know, what about when, you know, they look to you and they say, hey, look, you know, we need you. And those players, they go missing. Speak English or not, I've never heard him say anything about the club. I've never heard him say, we're going to work hard and we're going to get through this. I came here because I believe and we have to be proud. He's a flipping Catalonian guy at the end of the day. That's what he is. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I look at players like Pedro and I think I'm not surprised that he says he's going to go. That's a summary on that one. Napoli want Chalobah.
And Napoli want Chalobah. Is it
Yeah.
what? Is it a permanent move?
It is looking at a permanent, apparently.
So basically, yeah, they're looking to turn the temporary to permanent. I mean, again, it's one of those ones there where you think, how many players have Chelsea got out on loan? Is it?
A whole squad.
A few streams ago, yeah. Me and Louis almost done like 2 whole squads of loan players or youth players that could realistically be playing in the first team. We managed to get sort of 3 squads out of it, including the first team.
I find it weird because, for example, someone like Chalobah, very talented kid. Like, I remember him even a couple of years ago. I was
just thinking that.
I was just thinking, oh, this kid. But that's the problem with Chelsea. You look at a lot of these kids and you go, oh my gosh, I think he's good enough to make it. But they never make it. I can't. Well, who was the last one who went through?
JT.
Realistically, yeah. Louis, can you give us the stats on what the youth team have done? Is something like
mate, you guys have
FA Cups, how many European Cups in the last 5 years?
Well, if we're talking strikers again, like we were, Tammy Abraham scored 50 goals in 2015.
Solanke scored what 41 last season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They
won. They did a clean sweep of trophies as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple players. There's a guy. There's a mate of mine that is very talented. He's even better than I thought. I always say that, to be honest with you. But Frankie Dabo.
Frankly, Dabo.
Yeah, Dabo plays for. He's a right back for Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I look at him. I look at the things he's achieved. I look at what Nathan Ake did last season. I look at. I'm a huge fan of Masonda.
This is what I was saying. There are a lot of people in the comments now saying Masunda, and apparently he's been called up to the first team.
Like, he's been training with a team, but what's going to happen?
Exactly.
You know, might get an appearance or 2, but what?
Well, apparently Manchester United and other clubs, big clubs, are interested in 10 million. I think he's got a clause.
I'm not surprised because, you know, yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear you. That's why I was talking over you, mate. Sorry, carry on.
Nice one. I think the big clubs are interested in him. They want 10 million buyout clause. He's clearly got talent. That's we brought them all in. Obviously, Eunice a couple of days ago, well, a few days ago now, did a video of all the players which potentially could make it. Loftus-Cheek's already training with the first team. Should be playing. You watched him at that Scunthorpe game, and he just powered through a whole team in the first half. Literally, he got the ball and he nearly scored just by running through a whole team.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Joel.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was just echoing. I was just supporting your argument, to be honest with you. I wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it's again. If I was Loftus-Cheek, I don't know how I would feel, you know, because he's clearly. And what's sad is, Loftus probably knows that if he goes to another club, he's starting.
But he's that player. You know, you're talking about players who play for the shirt.
Yeah.
Him, Solanke, Tammy Abraham. They've been at Chelsea since they were kids, like 8 years old. So they care, and you know, if they started, you would see that fight. I mean, against Everton, you saw that there was that fight. But I just don't know what's going on anymore. But anyway,
I think JT did a really good job the other day, by the way. Regardless of what people might say for the goal, I reckon that's what you need. That's what you need. It's
exactly. Put it this way: if and when JT retires, and you think who could replace him, in our current squad, personally, I can't see anybody who could do it.
Zuma. I think Zuma's a better defender than Terry is currently. I think he's your best defender.
Mhm.
But what is lacking from Zuma? It's not the fight. He's a solid player, but there's just that heart. That I'm
Yes.
not saying he doesn't have heart. I'm trying to be very careful. He's a talented player. He's everything. I'm a big fan. I think he could start in any starting 11 in the world. That's how good I think Zuma is.
Mm.
But what JT has that you can't replace is what Lamps has, what Drogba has. They bleed Chelsea.
Mm.
Bleed Chelsea.
Yeah. It's the exact point. That's why all these young players, if they were given just those little opportunities, just those little ones, maybe not we're going to start constantly, but if they were just given maybe not maybe a small run of games, 2-3 games, or played on and off, came off the bench, but were the constant choice of substitution rather than the Pedros, the Ramirez's. They were the players which we turned to, and eventually would start to replace these players and work their way up. Currently, they're not going to do anything in just being in the squad and fighting with these players, which are obviously, we've paid 30 million, 40 million plus for, and they're not going to break into it because obviously Hiddink's looking at it going, well, these players cost 30, 40 million. They're obviously good enough to play. Let's just play them. I don't know if that's what he's thinking, but that's what it looks like to me.
Do
But
you
you've got
think?
these players.
Do
Sorry,
you
go on,
think?
Joe.
Do you think? This must be demoralizing for your youth team, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, 100%. No doubt at all. No doubt at all. But do we have? Let's move on.
Yeah. I can see Hiddink wants Vardy. I saw that and I thought, how real do you think this is,
Very unreal.
or Max? Let me ask you, Max. Sorry, you've been a bit quiet. How real do you think this is?
Firstly, I'm just going to have to say this is my last one. I will have to leave after this rumour.
Oh,
Unfortunately, yeah. I personally don't think it will happen. I think, considering how much further they are in the league table to us at the minute, and how good Leicester are looking, especially not in January, it won't happen. I personally don't think it's enough of a step up in his career at this stage. Maybe if we were in the stage we were in last season, I would understand it, but I don't think he's probably going to get a big increase in his wage on his contract at the end of the season, so I don't think it's worth it for him. I'm going to have to leave quickly. Sorry about that.
sorry, Max. That's probably my fault. I've been chatting away.
No problem.
Obviously, guys, because Max is going now, make sure you subscribe to his channel, The 12th Man.
Yes, thank you.
Some great content. And
Thank you.
I'll leave a link down in the description. But obviously, Max, go on, get lost. We don't like you here anymore. Go
Sorry.
away. See you later, mate.
Sorry, Louis. I think that was my fault. I've been banging.
It's all right. It's all right, mate. It's all right. But anyway, so Vardy, obviously, that's that. I like him. That's not very true. And obviously, there was one about Mahrez as well. I think it was Atsu plus 15 million for Mahrez. I don't think that's very likely either. But I think it's like Max is saying, they're much higher on the table than we are.
Yeah. I mean, we've also seen Charlie Basonda, who we've been talking about, on loan to QPR. I think that'll be really good, actually.
It would be, but I want him to play. I think Oscar's gone off the boil. I think Fabregas is starting to play better, but he's better in that deeper role. And I just think we don't have that number 10 now. And what will happen is if he goes out on loan, Oscar goes off the boil, we're going to have a hole in that number 10 slot where Masunda could very easily just step in.
Yeah. He's talented, man. I look at him and I think, wow, you guys have players just lying around. I mean, look at Kennedy,
Exactly. Yeah, it's another one, Kennedy. We forgot about Kennedy, but Kennedy is another prime example of a player who is absolutely fantastic. But before we came on, you mentioned something about talking about young players. Our young right back, Mr. Ola Aina. What have you got for me on him?
Well, basically, really talented right back. He's actually thought of very highly at Chelsea as well. Really good guy, really humble from the few times at which I've met him and seen him play. And I think, you know what? Quality player, really, really good player. But again, this issue with not being given chances. Arsene Wenger's a big fan of his. Arsene Wenger, there's a lot of rumours saying Arsene Wenger needs a right back, of course, because if you're looking at Jenkinson, he's gone out on loan to West Ham. It hasn't really worked that well. West Ham don't even really want him themselves, to be honest with you. Now they've got Sam Byron. Doesn't look like they're really going to need Jenkinson anymore. And you're looking at the fact that Debussy wants to go as well. Yes, they've got Bella in there. They need an understudy. They need someone they can nurture in, and someone who, yes, they will give games, and yes, they'll try to nurture, etc. And also Wenger is pretty good at that, if we're very honest with you. Looks like he wants to buy the right back from Chelsea, and I think it could happen, especially for a good price, because look, you've got Chelsea have an excess of players. They don't know what to do with them. They're gonna have to start selling at one point. Either that, or they loan him to, a Watford or a QPR or something. I don't know, but
we have the thing is we have those players which are killing it in those teams. I mean, Ake's killing it at Watford.
Yeah.
Bamford was killing it at Middlesbrough last season. Obviously, he didn't make the cut at Crystal Palace because they've been playing so well. Yeah. But we have all these players that we've loaned out across Europe. Majority, obviously, at Vitesse, which is great because they're playing. But a player like Nathan, who's on loan at Vitesse, a player like Solanke, Ake, Thomas Callas, who's on loan at Middlesbrough, who was on the bench for Chelsea a couple of seasons ago. I don't understand what's going on there, but these are guys who could come in and play. And like you said, he's thought very highly at Chelsea. When I saw him play against Fiorentina. Although he did lose 1-0, I thought he played really, really well that game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was fantastic. And his players, like Ivanovic, has been offered a 1-year contract.
Oh, I thought that was ludicrous.
Exactly.
Ludicrous.
Now, I'm not going to go off on one because I've got a better.
It's a school night. It's a school night.
It's a school night. But it's I've got to. If you think about the options that we could have on that side, you'd have Azpilicueta, and if he can't play, you'd have Aina.
Yeah.
A guy who could come in. Which this is what I'm saying. If instead, obviously they're not going to start until if they Azpilicueta 6 months out and Aina had to start and he was playing really, really well and he really pushed him, then maybe that's when you'd have that opportunity. But these are players, if Azpilicueta needed a rest or we needed to shift him over to left, you've had Aina to come in. If you had Baba Rahman or Ake on that side, they can play, they can do what they want, but Ake's like a utility player. Left back, centre back, and holding midfield.
Yeah.
He's that guy that we're lacking. Because if Matic isn't playing well, or if Ivanovic got injured, you could move Azpilicueta over, you put in Ake. Or if JT got injured, or you need to go switch at 5 at the back, you do Jared John Terry in the middle, Zuma on the right centre back, and Ake on the left centre back. You'd have those options.
You wonder who's making the decision to get him out? Is it the coach or is it the technical director? I don't have a jumper to wave about. I don't have something to shake. Whose fault is it, Louis? I don't know.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Nobody knows. Nobody knows at all, and it's something which plays on a lot of our minds. There's probably no one at the club will probably see this. No one will realise how a lot of people or the fans feel, and I think there is the thing about successful clubs like Barcelona, and maybe not now, but Manchester United, there was that connection between the fans and the board. They knew what they wanted. Barcelona, there's obviously that massive. You're a bit tired, Joel.
It's been a long day.
there's that connection between the fans at Barcelona, and obviously you got the youth, you've got the first team, you've got the fans, obviously going all the way up, and then you've got the board. They all are connected. They all talk to each other. They all know what's going on. And I think the issue with bigger clubs in the Premier League is there's not really that talk, not really that connection. Mm-hmm. And I think I think when obviously because Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV was probably the very first to set up the fans channels, and obviously Arsenal sort of maybe I don't know if they probably do listen to Robbie a lot more and those guys because they have obviously a massive following. They are spoken to. I see them outside Chelsea when they come play. You've got a group of people.
It's like a squad. It's like a gang.
exactly. It's like a mob.
Him, Kenny Ken.
To be
Yeah,
fair, I'm not looking forward to Sunday because that's going to be
uh,
horrible for me to walk into. But
oh man.
to be fair, Robbie is, he obviously that's where Arsenal have got it right. And I'm not an Arsenal fan. I will point out I'm not an Arsenal fan, and I know there are a lot of Arsenal fans on here. I'm giving you guys respect. You should be happy. Don't take the mickey. But that's where everything's got to. You got to find that balance.
Oh gosh.
But anyway,
you are the best.
I know. Let's let's wrap this up because Joel's obviously a very, very tired little man. We've got to let him get some sleep. He needs his beauty sleep. My Joel does. So thank you very much to Max who came on. And thank you very much to Joel from Cheeky Sport. What can people find on your channel?
Make sure you subscribe to Cheeky Sport. Louis is always on the channel as well, so it's a benefit. We go to different stadiums up and down the country and we banter the professional players. Yes, we banter players. I mean, literally, we take the mick out of them face to face, something you've never seen before. We mess with the fans. We also give a fan reaction. We do a lot of collabs with other YouTubers. So you'll go in there and you'll see, for example, I was saying Louis on there. And if Louis peed off and there's certain things he can't say on 100% Chelsea, he comes on and he says it on ours instead. And we just have a great time. Check it out. We're up and down the country, and you know what? We love the fans, and we love to have a bit of banter. All right, so subscribe to Cheeky Sport.
There you go. That's a great plug there, Joel. Great salesmanship. But obviously, as well as subscribing to Joel's channel, subscribe to mine, The Boogaloo. Videos coming out thick and fast. I'm hoping to get some more stuff out this week and this weekend. Sorry.
I need to subscribe to your channel. Hold on, let me do that now.
Yeah, Joel's doing it now. See, you've got to follow see what Joel's doing. You guys got to do it as well.
I'm doing it now. Just subscribe. I want to get the notifications as well. Hold on. So I'm gonna wait. Hold on. I've got to make sure I subscribe. Wait. Yep, done that. And also, right, I need to go and write a comment on it as well, so he knows that I've done it. And that's good that I know you've got a channel now, so I can start plugging you as well, and I can add you on my friends list on the side. You know, you got like the side bit where you can have your friends.
Joel, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're gonna have to show me how to do it because I don't know how to do it, but let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. So obviously, guys, thank you for watching. Follow my channel below. Subscribe to Cheeky Sport. All follow 100% Chelsea. All social media links are down in the description for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and obviously the new Snapchat, which is open. Hope you guys take care wherever you are. Sleep well. Have a good day. Enjoy your work. Enjoy school, whatever you're doing. But take care. See you later.